Well, hello friends, and welcome back to browser hacking. Today we are going to add some location API to the browser. So window.location basically, which should allow us to see where we are on the web and get stuff like the query string, the URL hash, things like that. And let's get Firefox here so we can see what it looks like in a mature browser. So if we go to Google on Bing, let's Bing Google on Bing. Okay, and then we'll inspect here, and if we type window.location here, no, not that. What even happened? Window location. Then we get this location object that has a whole bunch of information about the URL that we are currently at. So we have the hash, which we would, if we had a hash at the end here, then we would see that. I guess we can make that appear if we try again. Yeah, so I just typed pound hash at the end, then we get that in the hash property. Then we have host name, href for the whole URL. Origin, path name, this is the, I guess this is this part right here. And then protocol, and then search. This one is interesting. So this one contains the query string. And I think this was the only way you could get the query string back in the day, as I recall. But anyway, today we're just going to implement these APIs, and I don't know, maybe not all of them, but we'll make a location object, put it on window, and then let you access it, and then we'll make a test that shows that it works. And yeah, so let's start by making a test. So location, doc type, Tamila, and make a very simple little thing here. And I think basically what will we do? We will just dump out this information. So DOM content loaded, or actually let's just put the script later on. It's been a while since I was making these, and we can just do it this way. Var pre is document query selector all pre, okay, and then pre dot inner HTML is location href. So window location test. So this will be like a very simple test to see what we can achieve. Location. Yeah, that looks good. Right, so this is the location that we're at. So first, let's get to the point where we can do this maybe, or let's add a few more things. So we can add a new line, plus maybe location, or wait, how do we do this? Maybe we can do this. This is so filthy. I wonder if our engine will tolerate this, like serializing. Because what you're doing when you're appending to inner HTML like this, you're forcing the engine to first serialize to HTML as a string, right? And then you're adding something to the end of that string, and then you're assigning it to inner HTML, which forces it to deserialize by parsing the concatenation of the HTML that you just serialized. So this is like, I remember working on WebKit that this was this kind of pattern that you would see some websites do sometimes, and you would just feel like, oh, how am I going to make this faster when they're doing this? Because it's very hard from inside the engine to optimize someone doing this. Anyway, so let's just add something more here. We'll put like, I don't know, the host name. We can do it this way in our test, right? It doesn't matter. We just want to have a little thingy. And we'll put the hash and maybe the search, which was the query. Maybe we'll do path name as well. So we should make all of these different things actually show the right thing. So let's add a query. So here's my query and here's my hashamundo. And then there's no host name because we're on localhost. I mean, it's a file URL, so it has no host name. Can I put the host name here? Localhost. That was just removed by Firefox. All right. Anyway, I think this test is good enough for us to get started with. So let's see. It's been a while since we worked on this stuff, but I think we can. Okay, I don't know what's up with that. I think we can go to libweb and we'll go in the DOM, and then I think the closest maybe is the, do we have a navigator object? Yes. So I think this is a bit similar to the navigator object, which is where you get the user agent from. So we can just do this location object. So we'll start with that, and then we'll copy paste our way to success. And alphabet difficult. Let me just verify that I sorted this correctly. Seems like we did. Okay, and then at that point we can just refresh, and it builds. We are good with that. So location object. So the reason that I'm going straight to the bindings now, by the way, I'm adding this as a bindings object because normally when we're adding things to the JavaScript environment in libweb, we have like a corresponding object in the C++ environment. But when it comes to the location object, I feel like it's not necessary for us to create like a C++ location object just to hang off of the window object and just sit there and have a URL, right? This is more like something that's only useful to JavaScript. So we can expose it to JavaScript, but we don't need to have it existing in C++ just for the heck of it. Same as the navigator object. Like, I know that I'm libweb, right? I don't need an object sitting around in C++ telling me that I'm libweb, but if JavaScript asks for it, we can synthesize it at that time. So we'll do the same here. And location object. And then, so these are the user agent type things that go on the navigator object, but of course we are gonna replace all of these with something else. So we want to have a native property called href, and I guess we'll have an href getter and an href setter, because you're supposed to be able to set the href and cause the page to, or cause the browser to navigate to a different page. So we can implement that as well. That would be cool. So how does this work again? Href getter, right? And oops, and an href setter as well. Okay, so let's start with those two, and then so the first thing we're going to want to do is fetch the location object from the interpreter. So in our case, since we're not going through a prototype object here, we can actually be a little bit lazy and just go straight to the interpreter's this value. So But let's make a helper for it though. So auto location is location from interpreter, and then if no location, return empty. And here we'll make a helper. So, oh, I guess this has to be called JS interpreter. Okay, and then interpreter, this value is, if it's not an object, then I'm sorry to say that. Oh, wait, we have a ton of templates for these. Let me see. Impl from. I don't have to do this. I've done this before. It's just looking for a good one to copy. Okay, so location object. I mean, impl is a bit weird name here, but you can call it location from. Okay, so if this is a null pointer that we just assert, I guess that's fine. And then we can check that this object has this class name, otherwise we will refuse to proceed and still throw a type error. That's not a location object, bro. Okay, so what do we do here? You call location from on the interpreter, we fetch this value, turn it into an object. Oh yeah, I missed that part. So we toObject onto this object, onto this value, and if that doesn't work, we assert, otherwise we check that it's a location object, otherwise we throw. Probably shouldn't assert here, but I'm not sure what the right thing to do is yet. All right. So that's enough futzing around with that. So now we want to get the, what do we do now? Why did I want this in the first place? I don't have any, well, I do have some state on it, I suppose. I need to find what's the current href. So the location object needs to refer to something. And it needs to refer to, let's say, I mean, it's, the location object is on window. So really we can go straight to the global object, which is the window object. Let's see where we create this guy. So to put this guy somewhere, here's where we put navigator. So we'll do the same here. We'll put location, heap, allocate, location object. And we'll say that it's enumerable and configurable, just like the navigator, I guess. I don't know if that's actually the way it's supposed to be, but we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, and then in the href getter, I realize now that we can also just go straight to the global object and skip over this part. So maybe this is simpler than I thought, because we have interpreter global object, and since we're in the browser, we know that the global object is a DOM global object. So it's a DOM window. So here we can do a static cast DOM window object. Yes, something like that. Wait, this global object is a reference, right? Yes. So we'll do that. And why don't you like that? Oh, we need to actually include it. Man, I'm a real rusty on this stuff. It's good that we're hacking on it since I feel so rusty. So, okay, so we have the window object. I think we're gonna not need this actually. So I think we can just get rid of it. Don't need any of that because we have the global object, and the global object has the DOM window, and from there, my friend, we can go to the document, which has the URL, which is what we are looking for. All right, so now we just need to turn this into a JS string, which is easy peasy, I thought. Oh. You don't like that because it's a URL, not a string. Okay, fine. There we go, finally. This is a lot easier in the end than I thought it was going to be. And then the setter. So the setter is a bit trickier. Let's save the setter for last, actually. Navigate to a new URL. Okay, and then let's add the other props. So what did we have? Host name, path name. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to set these. I'm just gonna say that we can't right now. Path name and hash and search. All right, it's a healthy collection of APIs. So let's just put those guys here. And okie dokes. Then all we have to do is actually implement them. But I guess they are very similar to the href getter, so we'll just do the same thing. Path name getter. So what do we do then? We do URL path to string. I think we might actually have all of these as convenience APIs on the URL class. We'll see. Host name getter is URL host. And the hash getter is URL fragment. And the search getter is URL query. Look at that. So let's see if this actually works. I probably forgot something. Location. All right, so we are off to a decent start. We have the href looking good, path name looking good, host name is empty because we're on local machine, of course. So let's add foo to the search, showing up here, very nice. Let's add hash, and it's showing up there too. Very, very cool. Foo. What if we put localhost here? He accepted it. That's pretty awesome. First try. All right. So maybe let's do a commit with only this. Oh, and let's link that from the welcome page, actually. Tap, 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 tap. Location. Window location property. All right. So let's add these guys. Web. Add a simple window location object with some getters. Indeed. And now let's allow you to navigate. So this part is a little bit trickier. I don't think we've done JavaScript initiated navigation before, so it's a little bit tricksy. But the concept is much the same. We'll get the window from the global object pointer, and then we will have to turn that value into a string. So how do we do this? I forget. This value to string interpreter. And if the interpreter has an exception, we gotta bail. We've been adding more and more exception checks lately, and while it is nice to add exception checks, it also starts to feel really bloated because in JavaScript, like, so many things can throw exceptions, so you're constantly checking if exceptions were thrown. But all of that is just motivation to generate more of this code. That's how I think of it anyway. So here, let's call this new href. And then I guess we'll do window simple. Where can we go from the DOM window? Because really what we want to do now is we just want to set location, set href, or like did set location href. Let's add a helper for this, and we will implement it in the DOM window object instead, because then we get out of this bindings context because it's a bit awkward in here. So what did we call that? We called it did set location href, and we should probably take a badge so that nobody else calls this. Bindings. And let's add it here to this guy. Location object. New href, right? Yes. And we should make sure that we pass a batch. Okay, so in DOM window, did set location href. The way that we navigate is we have to tell the HTML view widget to go to open up a new URL. And the only way that we can handle that right now is we can call load. Let's see what it does if you click on a link. Click. Because if you mouse down on a link, we will emit, or we'll call this hook, call on link click. So you can do whatever you want if you're embedding an HTML view. But if the link starts with JavaScript, we will handle it internally in the engine, for example. And what about clicking on a link with a hash on it? Do we have something for that? I forget how it works when you click on a fragment. Wait, how the heck do we do that? The anchor element. We're looking for an anchor element somehow. Let's find out how we do that. Scroll to anchor. Okay, so who calls scroll to anchor? Browser tab calls it. Okay, so this logic is in the embedder. I think this is probably not super great factoring actually, because it shouldn't be up to the embedder of an HTML widget to know that if you click on a link that starts with a hash, you're supposed to scroll the content rather than opening something new. So this is something we should change. But what we would normally do, so here's if you want to open a new tab, but what we normally do for just a regular load request is we just call load with the URL. So I guess we could start with that. So how do we reach the HTML view from here? We can go to document. So we have the document, which is in from a. where I can't autocomplete. Frame. And the frame has an HTML view. Perfect. And here we can load. If we can just see it. So now we're kind of reaching through the layers here a little bit, and it's not perfect, but we gotta start somewhere. And oh, is that a pointer as well? Okay, so frame is document frame. If no frame, return. Okay. HTML view is document or is frame HTML view. If no, HTML view. Let's just call it view. If no view, return. Right. And then finally, view, load, new href. Okay. Then we'll need the test to be able to do this also. So how do we do that? We can. Wait, do we have click events? No, we don't. What kind of events do we have? And create. We have DOM content loaded. Oh, we have mouse down. We can do mouse down on a DOM node. We need to add more events so we can do more fun tests. What would be a good one? Like a div. Click me. I don't know. Click me. Click me to navigate away. Okay, and maybe we will style that div a little bit. Vim, why are you like this? Why don't you indent the way I imagine you should? Click me. Background color red. Color yellow, why not? Some really horrible combination. And then if you click on that, so we'll do something like document get element by id. Click me. Add event listener. Mouse down. Function. And then what do we do here? We do window location href is serenityos.org. Okay, so let's verify that this works in Firefox. Clickety clack. All right, we're on serenityos.org. Cool. Let's try this in our browser. It would be pretty cool if we could make this work. Indian location. We could add some more stuff. Protocol, for example. Alright, click. It worked. That's pretty cool. So now we can navigate away with setting the window location href property. Very, very cool. I made some new icons here earlier today after looking at some screenshots of IE5. I figured we could have a little bit livelier browser icons. I think they turned out pretty okay. Okay, so this is kick-ass. Let's see. Yep. So let's commit libweb, allow, navigating to a new URL by setting window location href. Oh. Whoops. Sorry about that. Sometimes you have to sneeze. All right, so let's do protocol as well, since we're on a roll here and just adding properties anyway. So protocol, did we have something else? Host and host name. But host, oh, host is the host, a colon, and the port of the URL. Interesting. I guess we can add that. So we'll do host and protocol. Okay. And what else did they have? We'll ignore the origin for now, but let's also ignore this one, because yeah, we don't have anything about ancestor browsing contexts. Okay, but this is a good batch of stuff. So now we need protocol and host as well. Although host doesn't seem to do much, but we can still add it. So host getter was supposed to be, actually let me put this somewhere where I can access it. And let's see, this is the host getter, and what did I just call that? Location HTML, right? Okay, here we are. So now we're on the serenityos.org website, and we're using HTTP. So this we can work with. Host. So I guess if the port is 80, then they don't do any fanciness with the host. But we probably should if the port is not 80. Host getter. What did they say in the doc here? Colon and the port. Okay, so we're just going to do what they say here. Like, let's do it what they say, not what they do, because that will be easier. Which one? I already forgot what the last one was. Protocol. Right. So the host is going to be string builder. So then we'll just add actually, let's copy the, well, let's grab the URL somehow. Window Earl host builder append a colon builder append then we do a unsigned number port. Okay, riveting. And then we'll finally do the protocol getter. Okay, so this is pretty chill actually. Protocol, I guess it was supposed to end in a colon, so let's do another one of these guys. This type of code is so chill to write, because like you're just kind of adding one thing at a time, and it's kind of relaxing. You don't have to think too much, and there's a lot of this stuff to be done in a browser especially, but also like in an operating system, and it's nice to sit down and work on something like this for once, where we can just kind of just like add some APIs, you know? It's cool. Alright, so next step is open this thing. So protocol is file colon, that part looks good. Let's go to serenityos.org thing. this just work? Yes, it did. And how does it look here? So we're doing the :80 thing. I think that's probably okay. Wonder what Chrome would do. Okay, so we're a little bit different, but it's not the end of the world. Oh, they have reload as well. Reload from the current URL. I guess we could do that, like window location reload. That would be a good API to have. So let's commit this. With web, add location protocol and location.host. Okay, and then let's do reload. So reload from the current URL. And let's ignore the parameter, which says if you can use cache or not. Let's just skip over that part. So that would be a function, actually. Put native function reload. And that would be very similar. Just be reload. Location object reload. Okay, and then all we need to do is just say window.impl did request location reload. Maybe it did call. Yeah. Wait, is this? Oh, we're supposed to return something, right? So let's just return JS undefined. There we are, and let's implement that function. So we'll just put it in window object. No big deal. Next to where are we? Wait, no, not in window object, in DOM window. Yeah, let's make some of those up. So this will be another one where we have a badge, bindings, location object. I'm really liking the badge pattern, by the way. Like, it's so nice to be able to add public functions here and not have to worry that anyone can call them, because it's clearly indicated and enforced that these are only for a location object to call. Such a nice little thing. So this will be very much the same as this guy, except I guess we're just gonna use the current, or wait, maybe he even has a reload API. Yes, he does. Okay, so did call location reload and then just a badge, and then we are good. So if we, oh shit, wait, we didn't call it from anywhere. We have to actually do something to make that happen. Click me, so click me, let's call that set href, and this one we call it reload. Okay, so this one will be set href, this one is reload, and I guess we can have a blue background with a, I don't know, some lightish gray color. And I still didn't hook it up to anything because I got carried away again. So let's hook it up to something here. Maybe we could use just a regular anchor tag actually, just an A tag with a JavaScript URL. But now I'm already committed to this, so I guess we're gonna do it this way. Window location reload. That's pretty cool. So let's see if it works. So we'll go here, and then we call this click. So it's kind of hard to see that anything happened. I guess if we scroll, then it will scroll up again when we reload. Yeah. So you can barely tell that we're reloading. I guess you can tell that we put the pages in history, which we probably shouldn't on reload. Location. Oh shit, I have to copy that. Here we go. And it totally works. Cool. That's really nice. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so that's just a reload API. And web. Add location window. Allow reloading the current frame with current page, I guess we can say, because we don't have frames yet. So even though you're technically, I guess, reloading the frame by calling this, we can say page, because that's okay. All right, so I think I'm gonna be done here for the day. I just wanted to do a little chill API, web API video, and I guess if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out. It's good to be adding a little bit of functionality to the browser again. God knows there are just mountains of functionality waiting to be added. But we're making progress little by little, so that's really good. So I hope that some of it was interesting, and I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.